If you have an LLC, right, and you're looking for a business loan with EIN only, no personal guarantee, you have a lot of obstacles depending on your situation, depending on the state where you have incorporated, you have organized your LLC. And so it's really important to have the right strategy. So in today's conversation, I'll just share with you what you need to do exactly to make sure you have the largest LLC business loan possible with EIN only, no personal guarantee. So here are the steps you need to follow. Step number one, make sure that you are really on top of your documentation. Paperwork is really number one. See, the whole thing is when you're talking about EIN only, business loan application, the lender will pay attention to your documents, okay? Especially if you're an LLC, that means what? That means that you are a legit business, which means you must have all the accoutrements, all the ingredients, all the important elements that justify you being a business. We're talking about having a legit LLC. We're talking about things like having the proper business licenses. Having if you're an owner operator, for example, you got to have a driver's license that is actually required for your operation, for your activity. We're talking about bank statements. It's really important to understand. See, people believe that having an LLC business loan with EIN only application just means you just put you just switch your social security number with your EIN and that's it. No, there is a constellation of documents that you need to provide to the lender to justify, to show, to prove that you are a legit business. So bank statements are really important. When we talk about bank statements, I'm not just talking about your personal bank statements. I'm talking about your business bank statements. Normally, if you are a single member LLC, the lender will ask you to provide both your personal and business bank statements. But if you are a multi-member LLC, they really will be comfortable with only your business bank statements. Not a problem. Same thing for your income tax returns. So if you are a single member LLC, they'll ask for both. And if you are, as a matter of fact, if you're a single member LLC, you don't have a business tax return. Okay, so they'll only just look at your personal tax return. But if you are a multi-member LLC, they'll look for not only your Form 1065, but also your personal tax returns. Okay, they'll ask for things like business leases, your financial projections. Okay, and they might ask for documentation of the entity and industry type based on your geography. So you gotta stay on top of the documentation. So if your goal is if you're really serious about getting an LLC business loan with EIN only, no personal guarantee, documentation is number one. Number two, let's talk about credit scores. Okay. By the way, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. And I'm just trying to explain to you why it's important to have a good credit score when you're trying to get an LLC business loan with EIN only. The whole thing is that you might be thinking, well, it's a little contradictory. It's a little dichotomous that we're talking about personal credit score if we're speaking about EIN only business loan application for your LLC. See, the thing is that your credit score, your personal credit score, is not going to impact the loan application. But similar to a business plan, similar to a founder bio, the lender is looking at you as the founder. They're looking at your personal credit score to see your financial responsibility. Because basically, even if you're asking the lender to approve you based on an EIN only, they still need to make sure that the person or the persons behind the LLC are strong, not only when it comes to financial discipline, but also when it comes to their experience vis-a-vis the industry they're in, vis-a-vis the type of business they are running. Why? Because you're asking the lender to give you an LLC business loan with EIN only. How are you going to repay the lender if you don't have experience running the specific type of LLC you are trying to get a loan for? Okay, this is the kind of nexus. This is the connection I want you to see. This is the correlation I want you to see. So your personal credit score, whether you have 680 or 580 or 780, is not going to be an important ingredient in qualifying you, because your LLC credentials, your LLC financials are going to be the one to get you approved. However, However, the lender will still want to pay attention to your financial history, especially, and this is really important, especially if you are a single member LLC. See, when you're a single member LLC, no matter what people tell you about, hey, you're trying to, like, your business is separate from your personal affairs, it is true. But in reality, for all intents and purposes, if you're a single member LLC, your business affairs are kind of a little intertwined with your personal affairs. So it's really important to understand that. Okay, really, really important. The third thing I want you to do here, I want you to write a business plan. So if you're trying to, by the way, let me just quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a short convo about LLC business loan with EIN only, no personal guarantee, how to get a large amount at that. So step number one, you need to be really strong when it comes to paperwork. Number two, you want to make sure that you have no sort of crazy thing in your credit report or credit history. The third thing is you want to write a business plan. And writing a business plan is really important. I mean, a lot of the big organizations have talked about it. The SBA has talked about it. You have the Wall Street Journal. You have the New York Times. You have the Harvard Business Review. You have Bloomberg. You have every day. You have many media organizations in this country that are always tell business owners of all stripes, whether you have an LLC, whether you have you have an S corp, a C corp, doesn't really matter. Those organizations, those experts are telling all business owners to always have a business plan. You got to have a business plan. Sometimes when sometimes we get emails and comments from viewers who are just asking us about their credit scores, and they want to get a loan. They want to get an LLC business loan, EIN only, but they'll always forget the number one, the fundamental criterion, which is to have a business plan. People forget about that. It's just kind of crazy. It's really, really crazy. So I don't want you to be in that category. I want you to really right now to think about the fact that you need to have a business plan. I don't care how you do it. I don't care how you write it. I don't care if you write it yourself or you just outsource the writing to a third party, but you got to have a business plan. Okay? Very important, boss. Very important. If you're listening to me right now, have a business plan. Now, if you need more information on how to write a business plan, or you need help in terms of finding a freelancer, we can actually help you out. We can actually guide you. We can point you to the right platforms. You have freelancer.com. You have Upwork. You have Fiverr. You have software that you can use to write a business plan yourself, but you got to have a business plan. You need to have a business plan. I don't care if you're a startup. I don't care if you're an established business. You need to have a business plan. If your goal is to have an LLC business loan with EIN only, no personal guarantee. The next thing I want you to do here, I want you to be prepared to offer collateral. Now, this depends on the transaction you're trying to get. Some transactions are kind of cool. The lender will work with you, not a problem. But some lenders might actually ask you to provide collateral. Now, the thing is, if you're looking for an LLC business loan EIN only, no personal guarantee, you might need to provide collateral based on the transaction and the geography. So some lenders, depending on your state of organization, state of incorporation or organization, might say, listen, we're fine with no collateral. Some states might say, we want collateral. And either way, if you're going for equipment financing or real estate deals, by definition, those transactions are collateralized. Okay, so this is really important to think about that. And please make sure that you are comfortable with the terms and conditions that come with the collateralized loan. It doesn't matter if it's EIN only or no personal guarantee. If it has collateral, then it means you have to pledge something. Okay, you have to pledge a business assets. Maybe your LLC has a business assets that you need to pledge. So be comfortable to pledge those assets, because if something were to happen, if you default on the loan, those assets can be repoed. Okay. Number 5, you want to decide what type of business loan you want for your LLC. Okay. And when we talk about EIN only, no personal guarantee business loans for your LLC, you have a constellation of business loans. It's not just one type. There are many different types of loans. And as a matter of fact, when we talk about business loans, you can also even have business lines of credit, EIN only, no personal guarantee for your LLC, right? So you can have a regular loan, a regular business loan. You can have a working capital loan. You can have an equipment loan, EIN only, of course, no personal guarantee. You can have a merchant cash advance. You can have an invoice factoring arrangements. You can have a small business line of credit. So you really can have it revolving or non-revolving type of EIN only, no personal guarantee, LLC business loan. So it's really important for you to have a clear idea of what you want and why you want it that way. Okay, and because this will help you stay away from those lenders who are not suitable for you. Because the last thing you want is to actually waste time talking to lenders who are not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so this is not really worth it for you. It's not worth for your business to actually waste time. So be very clear about the type of business loan that you need and want. Next thing I want you to do here is to determine how much you want to borrow. By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a quick convo about LLC business loans, EIN only, no personal guarantee. How do you get a large one? Okay, so when we talk about how much you really need, it's important to have a clear idea of how much you need. See, the whole thing is your LLC right now needs a business loan and you want an EIN only. Okay, but how much do you really need? What are your needs and why do you need that much money? Okay, so when we talk about how much money your LLC business needs, this will be based on your maybe what you have in your business plan. Maybe you want to buy inventory. Maybe you want to buck up inventory for the next season, for the next holiday season. Maybe you want to hire new staff. Maybe you want to expand your office. Your office. You want to expand your capabilities. Right? You want to maybe seize a business opportunity. You want to buy over a rival. It really depends on what you're trying to achieve, right? And nobody can really can know exactly what you want to achieve unless you put it in the business plan. This is why having a detailed, compelling business plan helps your LLC win this business loan with EIN only, no personal guarantee. And when we talk about how much you want to borrow, there's also a correlation between how much you want to borrow and how much your business can afford. Because it's not about just, I want to borrow $1 million. And the question is, would your business be in a position where you can generate enough revenue to afford the repayment amounts? This is really important to really think about that. So it's not just about, I want to borrow this amount of money. This is how much I need. Okay, this is how much you need. But can you afford that much money? Okay. Also, you want to think about the cost of your LLC business loan with EIN only, no personal guarantee. You need to think about the impact of your LLC business loan, EIN only, no personal guarantee, on your projections. Okay, those are really important. You also want to think about future financing needs for your LLC business, because it's not just about one transaction. I mean, you get a loan for $1 million, but do you have enough bandwidth in your? Do you have enough room in your financial in your monetary or budgetary bandwidth to get more financing in the future? Next thing I want you to do right now is to really think about, you need to get the best financing. It's really important to have a clear idea of what really works for you and to actually get the best lender. You need to find the best lender, the right lender for your LLC. Because when we talk about EIN only, LLC business loans, you need to understand that you have a constellation of lenders. And what I want you to do is to research various lenders before deciding which one you want to approach. Make sure the terms of the loans they offer are healthy for your LLC business. Okay, don't actually rush doing things, and if possible, try to pre-qualify, because the whole thing here, you want to see, like, without actually risking anything, you want to see if they are able to approve you, number one, and if they are able to approve you, how much they might give you if you were to be approved. This is where the whole pre-qualification process plays an important role. Okay, so when we talk about finding the right business lenders, we're talking about making sure that you talk to all kinds of lenders for your LLC. For example, your traditional banks, you have your credit unions, you have your online lenders, you have your alternative lenders, and then you have, in a very small category, you have micro lenders. But we're not going to cover micro lenders today. We just want to cover the quartet that I just gave you: credit unions, banks, online lenders, and alternative lenders. Those four players are pivotal when it comes to your ALC, business loans, EIN only, no personal guarantee. So the thing here is that you need to ask yourself, can you actually get the loan with your credit union or bank? Might be a little complicated. I mean, banks and credit unions are, by definition, very risk averse. So if you're talking about EIN only, no personal guarantee, this already is not a really good sign. But hey, listen, if you have a good relationship with them, if you have the right financials, you could actually get a loan. Your LLC can get a loan from your credit union or bank. Is really it's about the relationship you are able to cultivate all those years. If not, your best bet will be to try online lenders and alternative lenders. Okay, alternative lenders, you have a lot of players who actually don't go by the rules you usually see at banks and credit unions. Online lenders are also similar. Okay, there are usually fintechs. They're trying to get into the whole business lending space, so they are more flexible. I mean, they do have a high APR generally, but they are more flexible when it comes to approving you, when it comes to approving new applications. So we really love them a lot. The last thing I want you to do here is to read through the terms of the LLC business loan EIN only. No personal guarantee. No personal guarantee loan that you have just gotten. Now, it's really important to see. The thing is, when we talk about reading through the terms and conditions, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of viewers, they really don't care about that aspect of things. They got the money. That's all they care about anyway. But that's a big mistake. A big mistake. Why? Because number one, when you have an LLC, that means you have a business, and anything you make, any mistake you make, your business is responsible. And this could be very costly in terms of fees, in terms of other legal, I would say legal proceedings in the future. And by reading the terms and conditions of the loan, you know exactly what to do and what not to do. You know exactly how much you'll have to pay every month. That you'll probably know without reading the whole contract anyway. But the thing is that terms of the loans can actually, like some loans, some LLC business loan might actually ask you to maintain a certain debt to equity ratio. So if you do not meet that criterion, you might actually have the loan being recalled. Is that what you want? So that's a big risk. Okay. So the question is, can you realistically meet those standards? The standards there are in the loan, in the LLC business loan, like in the contracts. Okay. And so if the lender wants you to meet certain conditions and you fail to meet those conditions, you might actually be in default. See, when we talk about default, we're not just talking about you not being able to repay your loan amounts. It just means that you're not abiding by the clauses of the contracts. Okay. And this is not a space where you want to be in. Definitely not. One thing I also need to say here is that when we talk about the terms of the loan, remember that some loans, if you don't go by their terms and conditions, they might actually increase the APR, for example. They might actually increase fees. Okay, they might increase the amount you pay every single month in terms of loan repayments. So those are things that have consequences. Okay, they always have consequences. And you got to be comfortable too. You got to be comfortable enough to handle those extra consequences when they do arise. Okay, and one thing I want to say before closing today's conversation here is that depending on the lender that you have, just make sure that you start everything. You start the whole conversation over the phone. You want to call a rep. You want to ask most questions that you have before even starting everything, before starting things online, before actually filling out a paper form, right? Because you're trying to stay on top of things. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I'm just talking to you about how to get an LLC business loan with EIN only, no personal guarantee, how to get a large amount. So you want to gather the right documentation. You need to ensure you have a strong credit score, write a business plan, be prepared to offer collateral, decide which type of business loan you want, okay, determine how much you want to borrow, find the right business lender, and read through the terms of the loans. Thank you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.